The exploration vessel Odyssey 9 drifted quietly through the deep black of space. Its white hull reflected the distant light of the nearby sun, and inside, a crew of 7 humans prepared for another planetary survey. For them, this was just another mission, until they reached the mysterious world called Virella 3. Captain Adrian Holt stood at the observation deck, watching the green and silver clouds swirl over the planet below. It looked peaceful from space, almost like Earth after a storm. But the readings coming from the surface were strange, energy signals that didn't match any known technology. "Captain," said Lieutenant Kara Mills, the communications officer, "scanners are picking up rhythmic pulses from the southern hemisphere. It's repeating like a heartbeat." Adrian turned toward the display. "A heartbeat?" He frowned. "That's biological, but it's coming from under the ground?" "Yes, sir," Kara confirmed. "About 200 meters deep near a structure made of unknown material." Adrian's eyes narrowed. "Prepare a landing team. I want to see it for myself." Within the hour, the landing shuttle cut through the planet's atmosphere, streaking past silver clouds and glowing lightning veins. The landing team, Adrian, Kara, Dr. Lewis, the xenobiologist, and Sergeant Dane, the security chief, touched down on the rocky terrain near a huge circular crater. At the center of it stood a structure that looked half stone, half metal, covered in green moss and strange glowing veins. Dr. Lewis scanned the walls and shook his head. "Captain, this material isn't just metal, it's organic." Adrian raised an eyebrow. "You mean alive?" "Partly. Like coral that has turned to crystal. It's growing very slowly." Adrian placed his hand on the wall. It was warm, like living skin. "Let's move carefully. Helmets on, oxygen filters set. No one touches anything without scanning first." The team entered through a tall archway, stepping into a corridor filled with dim blue light. Symbols glowed faintly along the walls, their patterns moving like waves. The air inside was heavy but breathable. Each step echoed softly, as if the corridor were listening. As they moved deeper, Kara whispered, "Captain, it feels like the walls are breathing." He glanced around. "Stay focused. Record everything." They reached a fork in the passage. Adrian marked the entry point, and they split briefly to cover both directions. Kara and Lewis took the left. Adrian and Dane went right. The corridors twisted and turned like a maze until Adrian realized something strange. The architecture was changing. A hallway that had been straight a moment ago now curved sharply, and a doorway that wasn't there before appeared on the right. "Sergeant," Adrian said, gripping his scanner, "are you seeing this?" Dane looked uneasy. "Yes, sir, it's like the place is shifting." Before Adrian could reply, the floor vibrated beneath their boots. The lights along the walls brightened and the entire structure seemed to move as if stretching after a long sleep. A hum filled the air, deep and rhythmic, like that same heartbeat from orbit. "Captain Holt to all units," Adrian said into his comm. "Report status." Static answered him. No voices, no signals. Only the low pulse echoing through the walls. "Communications are down," Dane muttered. Adrian took a breath and nodded. "We regroup. Let's find Kara and Lewis." But as they turned, the corridor behind them sealed shut, smooth metal sliding over the opening like living tissue. The exit was gone. They were trapped. Adrian tapped his wrist panel again, trying to reconnect, but the signal was dead. The scanner flickered with strange symbols and unreadable data. "The walls are interfering with our tech," he said. "Let's keep moving. There has to be another exit." The deeper they went, the stranger it became. The air grew warmer. The blue light shifted to gold. Then ahead, the corridor opened into a massive chamber, round and filled with floating particles of silver mist. The floor shone like glass and the ceiling pulsed with light as if it were the inside of a living heart. At the center of the room stood a tall figure. Adrian froze. The being was shaped like a woman, with long flowing strands of luminous hair that moved like liquid light. Her skin shimmered in soft tones of silver and pale blue, and her eyes glowed like twin stars. Around her head floated small orbs of light, circling slowly like moons around a planet. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Adrian said quietly, "You're in the wrong room." The figure tilted her head slightly as if studying him. Her lips curved into a calm, knowing smile. "I know," she said, her voice like a melody of echoes. Adrian blinked. Her words were clear, perfect English. He stepped forward cautiously. "You understand me?" She nodded once. "I have listened. I have learned. You awaken me, human of Earth." Adrian's heart raced. "Who are you?" She looked around the chamber, her expression distant. "I am Liranai, Queen of the Oralis. This place you walk in is not stone, not metal. It is my body, my ship. I have slept for many ages." Adrian's mouth went dry. "You're saying this whole structure is alive?" "Yes," she said softly. "And now, so am I." Dane stepped closer, keeping his weapon low but ready. "Captain, I don't like this. Let's get out of here." Adrian didn't move. His curiosity outweighed his fear. "Queen Liranai," he said slowly, "if this is your ship, then why did it move?" "Why now?" She smiled faintly. "Because you called me. Your machines, your presence, stirred the energy of this place. My slumber was deep, but your kind's curiosity is louder than silence." Adrian glanced at his scanner. It was still flickering wildly. "We didn't mean to wake you." Liranai took a slow step forward, her movements graceful like floating water. "No one wakes what is already waiting." The words sent a chill down his spine. "Waiting for what?" he asked. "For you." The silence that followed was heavy. Adrian stared at her, unsure if he should believe what he just heard. "What do you mean for me?" "For humans." Lyra's glowing eyes softened. "Your kind has reached beyond your small world, searching for answers in the dark. You remind me of what my people once were, before the silence, before the war." Adrian frowned. "War?" But before she could answer, the chamber shook violently. Dust and silver mist swirled around them. Lights along the walls flashed red, and a deep rumble echoed from somewhere far below. Lyra's calm face turned serious. "Something stirs in the depths. My enemies may yet live." Dane raised his weapon. "Captain, we need to move now." Adrian looked back toward the wall where they entered. It had sealed completely. "There's no way out." Lyra lifted her hand, and the ground rippled like water. A new passage formed on the opposite side of the room. "Go," she said. "This path will take you to your friends." Adrian hesitated. "What about you?" She met his gaze. "I will remain. This is my home. But you must decide soon, human. The old war returns." Before he could ask another question, the floor trembled again. The lights flickered and the walls began to shift. Adrian looked at her one last time. Her silver eyes glowed brighter, her calm face never breaking. "We'll come back," he said. "We'll help you." Her smile returned, the same calm, knowing smile. "I know," she whispered. The golden mist rose higher, surrounding Adrian and Dane. When it faded, they found themselves back near the entrance, the walls silent once more. The air was cold again. Kara and Lewis appeared from the other passage, running toward them, shouting his name. "Captain, where were you? We lost contact for 10 minutes. Adrian looked back at the wall where the chamber had been. It was gone. Only solid rock remained. He said quietly, "We met someone." "Someone?" Kara asked. "Down here?" Adrian nodded slowly. "Yes, and she was waiting for us." The heartbeat pulse returned for a moment, soft, almost like a farewell, and then faded completely. The team stood in silence, surrounded by the ruins of a world that no longer seemed dead. Adrian didn't tell them everything. Not yet. He only glanced once more at the empty wall and whispered, "You're in the wrong room. But somehow, I think we're the ones who are." Far above them in orbit, Odyssey 9's sensors flickered with new energy readings. something vast awakening below the surface of Virella 3. The Queen of the Oralis had opened her eyes again. The silence inside the ancient structure lasted only a moment before the hum of the scanners returned. Captain Adrian Holt and his team stood close together, breathing heavily, their lights cutting through the floating dust. The strange golden mist had vanished, and the corridor around them looked dull and lifeless again, just stone and metal, as if the glowing chamber never existed. "Captain," Kara said, her voice uncertain, "what happened in there?" "We lost all signal, even bio-readings. It was like you just disappeared." Adrian glanced at her but didn't answer immediately. He was still thinking about the alien queen's voice, calm and knowing, echoing in his mind. "I know," the words felt heavier than they should. He turned toward the exit and said, "We'll talk once we're back on the ship." They made their way through the shifting tunnels, marking every turn to make sure the path didn't close again. Dr. Lewis took samples of the glowing veins that lined the walls, whispering in amazement. "Captain, this material is unlike anything I've ever seen. It reacts to our presence, almost like it's listening." "Let's not stay around long enough for it to answer," Dane muttered, keeping his weapon ready. When they finally reached the surface, the dull sky of Virella 3 seemed almost welcoming. Silver clouds rolled slowly above the crater, and the wind carried faint static. The shuttle waited for them nearby, engines humming softly. Back on Odyssey 9, the air felt strangely lighter. The crew returned to their stations, and Adrian walked straight to the observation deck. He needed a moment alone to think. The planet rotated below him, its strange beauty filling the wide glass window. It was hard to believe something alive, something powerful was sleeping beneath that surface. Kara entered quietly behind him. "Captain," she said, "Dr. Lewis finished analyzing those samples." "You should see this," Adrian turned. "What did he find?" "He says it's a mix of organic and crystalline matter. But the energy signature, it matches the heartbeat pattern we saw earlier. It's pulsing from deep underground." Adrian nodded slowly. "So she's still awake." "She?" Kara repeated. Adrian looked at her, unsure if he should tell her everything. But he knew his crew deserved the truth. There's something or someone down there. She called herself Liranai, Queen of the Oralis. She said this place isn't ruins. It's her body, her ship. Kara blinked. "Her ship alive?" "Yes," Adrian said quietly. "And she said she was waiting for us." Before Kara could respond, the bridge lights dimmed and the main screen flickered. Strange symbols appeared, glowing silver lines forming circles and waves. Then a voice filled the air, calm and melodic. "Human vessel," the voice said. "You stand above what remains of the Oralis. I mean no harm," Kara gasped. "Captain, that's her voice." Adrian stepped forward. "Liranai, how are you communicating with us?" "I reach you through the memory roots of my ship," she said. "You touched the living heart. Now I can speak." Adrian exchanged a glance with his crew. "What do you want from us?" "I wish only to understand," she replied. "Your kind awakened me, and with that awakening my world begins to stir. But there are dangers below, machines that once sought to destroy all life. I must not wake them." Dr. Lewis joined the conversation from the science console. "Captain, I'm detecting movement beneath the surface. Mechanical signatures." "She's telling the truth." Adrian took a deep breath. "Queen Liranai, if these machines are a threat, we can help you. But you have to tell us what's happening." There was a short silence. Then her voice softened. "The Oralis once ruled the stars, but we were proud and careless. The Zirath, creatures of metal and fire, rose against us. We created them to protect us, but they turned on their makers. My people fell one by one, and I hid my essence within this world to survive. Now your presence stirs them again." The crew looked at each other in uneasy silence. Kara whispered, "She's saying this whole planet might be a battlefield waiting to start again." Adrian straightened. "What do you need us to do?" "You must come to me once more," Lyra said. "The connection is weak. If the Zirath rise, they will not stop with me. They will reach for the stars again. You must help me stop them." Dane, who had been quiet, shook his head. "Captain, we don't even know what we're dealing with. We're explorers, not soldiers." Adrian looked at him. "Maybe, but we're also human, and humans don't run when someone asks for help." He turned back to the screen. "Prepare a descent shuttle. We're going back down." A few hours later, the shuttle descended once more through the glowing clouds of Virella 3. The ground seemed different now. Small pulses of light rippled across the surface like breathing. The crater glowed faintly and a new passage had opened at its center. As the crew stepped out, the air around them vibrated softly, like a song too low to hear. Lyra's voice echoed faintly in their minds. Follow the light. The ship remembers your presence. The tunnel led them deeper than before. The walls were warm, pulsing with faint gold light. The corridor widened into another vast chamber, one that looked more mechanical than organic. Towering pillars of glass-like material reached to the ceiling, glowing softly with flowing energy. At the center stood a tall crystal structure that pulsed gently, like a giant heart. Adrian stared. This must be the core she talked about. Lyra's voice filled the room again, softer this time. You stand before the heart node. It is the memory and soul of my people. Through it I can speak freely. Then, before their eyes, the crystal shimmered, and her form appeared again more clearly this time. She looked exactly as Adrian remembered. Tall, radiant and calm, her silver blue eyes reflecting the golden light of the core. Welcome back, Captain Holt, she said with a small smile. I am pleased you kept your word. Adrian nodded. We said we'd help. Lyra looked at him closely as if studying his thoughts. Humans, you are strange beings. You come from a small world, yet your courage is vast. We just do what we can, Adrian replied simply. Her eyes softened. And that is what makes you different. Dr. Lewis stepped forward, examining the heart node. If I understand correctly, this thing stores both energy and memory? Yes, Lyra said. But it is damaged. Without repair, the old defenses will awaken. The Zirath still lie beneath the crust. They are waiting for power to return. Adrian frowned. Then we fix it. How? You cannot repair it with your machines, she replied. But your presence, your living energy, strengthens it. When your hands touched the walls before, the ship remembered life again. I can use that memory to hold back the awakening. The ground trembled slightly. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lyra looked up. We must hurry. They are stirring. Who? Kara asked nervously. The Zirath, Lyra whispered. The old enemy. The lights in the room dimmed. The faint hum turned into a low rumble. The crew felt the vibration beneath their boots, something moving deep below. Adrian quickly took command. Everyone form a perimeter. Keep your scanners active. Lyra, can you stop them? Her voice became distant, almost echoing through the chamber. I will try, but their signal grows stronger. They remember us too. Adrian stepped closer to her glowing form. Then we'll buy you time. Tell us what to do. Lyra looked at him with that same soft, mysterious smile. You already are. Your presence strengthens me more than you know. The light from the heart node brightened, surrounding them in a warm glow. For a brief moment, Adrian felt a wave of calm wash over him. An ancient peace mixed with something deeply human. Hope. Then, just as suddenly, the light dimmed again. The tremor stopped. Lyra exhaled softly. It is done for now. I have held them back. But their awakening cannot be stopped forever. Adrian lowered his weapon. Then we'll find a way. She looked at him, her expression unreadable. Perhaps that is why the stars brought you here. He smiled slightly. Or maybe we just got lost. Lyra's eyes glimmered. Sometimes being lost leads you exactly where you are meant to be. The golden light around the heart node pulsed one final time, steady and strong. As the crew prepared to leave, Adrian looked back at her. We'll come back soon, he said. You're not alone in this, Lyra's calm smile returned. I know. The words echoed softly as they walked away, fading into the hum of the living ship. Far above, Odyssey 9's sensors recorded a new reading, an enormous surge of energy spreading beneath Virella 3's surface, like a heartbeat becoming stronger. Something ancient had begun to awaken again. The next day on Odyssey 9, the crew worked quietly. The mood on the ship had changed. Every screen showed strange, glowing readings from the planet below. The heartbeat signal was stronger than ever, and it pulsed like clockwork through the scanners. Captain Adrian Holt stood in the control room, looking down at the holographic image of Virella 3. The entire southern hemisphere now shimmered faintly with golden light. He knew it was because of Queen Lyra. She was awake and her ancient ship was alive again. Captain, Kara said as she approached, the sensors are showing movement under the planet's crust. Several large energy sources all heading toward the Queen's location. Adrian frowned. The Zirath? Dr. Lewis nodded from his station. It looks that way. Their energy patterns are different from the Oralis. Cold, mechanical, and spreading fast. Adrian's eyes darkened. She said they were waiting. I think she knew this would happen. A voice from below. The ship's lights flickered again, and the Queen's soft voice filled the bridge. Captain Holt, she said, calm as always. They have awakened. Adrian stepped forward. Lyra, we can see them. What are they? Machines? Yeah, she replied. The Zirath were born from our own creation. We built them to serve, to protect our worlds. But they grew without hearts, without balance. When they looked upon life, they saw only chaos. To them, silence was peace. Kara's eyes widened. They wanted to destroy all life. Yes, said Lyra. They believed the universe could be perfect if it stopped moving, if it stopped breathing. They do not feel hatred, only purpose. Adrian clenched his fists. And now they're coming for you again. For us, Lyra corrected softly. You woke me, and now they sense you too. Humanity has become part of this story. There was a long pause. The hum of the ship filled the silence like a heartbeat. Then Adrian spoke. What do we need to do? You must come to the surface once more, Lyra said. The heart node grows weaker as the Zirath approach. Without your living energy, it cannot resist them. Dr. Lewis looked uneasy. Captain, we're scientists, not warriors. If those machines attack, Adrian interrupted him gently. We didn't come here to fight, but we also didn't come to run away. He turned toward Kara. Prepare the shuttle. We're going back down. Return to the living planet. The shuttle descended through thick golden clouds. Lightning flashed around them, soft, harmless streaks of white and silver. Below, the ground shimmered with moving lights, like veins of molten glass. As they landed near the great crater again, Adrian could feel the hum of the planet through his boots. The air itself seemed alive. Stay close, he said. If those machines are active, we don't know what they'll do. They moved through the tunnels, guided by faint glowing trails that pulsed with Lyra's voice. Follow the light, she whispered. The path remembers you. At the end of the corridor, they reached the same grand chamber as before. The heart node glowed weakly now, its light flickering, and there, standing before it, was Queen Lyranai, her form dimmer as though fading. Adrian stepped forward. You're weakening. Yes, she said softly. I am bound to the heart. When it fades, so do I. The Zirath drain the planet's energy to awaken their own network. Kara frowned. Can we stop them? There is a way, Lyra replied. But it is dangerous. Adrian didn't hesitate. Tell us. She turned toward the glowing heart node. There is a control nexus deep within my ship. It was built to command all the energy flows of the planet. If you reach it, you can cut off the power the Zirath are stealing. But the path is guarded by ancient defenses and traps that only respond to living thought. Machines cannot pass, but humans can. Adrian looked at his crew. Then we go. Lyra's eyes glimmered faintly. You truly are like the first of my kind. Brave and foolish, he smiled slightly. We've been called worse. The descent into darkness. The team descended through narrow tunnels beneath the chamber. The air grew colder and strange shapes appeared on the walls, carvings that told stories of the Oralis civilization. Beautiful beings of light and crystal, standing proud under foreign suns. Then came the darker carvings, metal creatures with sharp edges and glowing eyes, the Zirath. Kara whispered. They look like nightmares. Adrian answered quietly. Maybe they were someone's dream once. The deeper they went, the more the tunnel vibrated. Faint clicking noises echoed in the distance, mechanical, rhythmic, growing louder. Dane raised his weapon. Movement ahead. From the shadows, small drone-like machines crawled out of the walls. Their eyes glowed red, their bodies smooth and sharp like black glass. They moved without sound like spiders made of steel. Don't fire unless you have to, Adrian said calmly. They react to aggression. But one of the drones lunged suddenly, its limbs slicing through the air. Dane fired once, and the creature burst into sparks. At that moment, all the others turned toward them, their eyes burning brighter. Move, Adrian shouted. They ran down the corridor, the walls lighting up as they passed. The drones followed, crawling along the ceiling and walls like living shadows. Just when the path split, Lyra's voice echoed faintly in their minds. Left. They turned left, and the drones stopped, halted by an invisible barrier of golden light. Panting, Kara leaned against the wall. That was too close. Adrian caught his breath and looked ahead. The new corridor led into a chamber filled with glowing symbols and floating crystals. In the center was a platform of smooth white stone. Dr. Lewis scanned it. This must be the control nexus, she mentioned. Adrian stepped onto the platform and the room came alive. The crystals around them lit up, forming holographic circles and patterns in the air. Strange alien symbols rotated like stars. Lyra, Adrian said, what do I do? Her voice replied softly, echoing through the chamber. You must align the flows. The heart node connects through 7 conduits. Touch the symbols that match its rhythm, the heartbeat. Adrian listened. Through the hum he could hear it, the steady thump 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 of the living ship. Slowly he began pressing the glowing symbols in rhythm. Each time he did, the chamber pulsed with warm light. The last symbol flared bright and the tremors stopped. The entire structure hummed like a living creature breathing again. The message, the light around them, formed into Lyra's holographic figure. She looked stronger now, her voice steady once more. You did it, Captain Holt, she said. The Xyrath's link has been severed for now. Adrian sighed in relief. For now? They will return? They always do, she said quietly. But this time they will face something they never have before, humans. He looked at her. You believe we can fight them? She smiled faintly. You have something they do not. You act not for perfection but for hope. That makes you unpredictable. That makes you dangerous, Kara asked softly. What will happen to you? Lyra looked at the glowing walls. I will rest again for a time. But my power grows as yours does. Our fates are now connected. Adrian stepped closer to her. If you need us again, how will we know? You will feel the call, she said. In your dreams, in the rhythm of your heart. My memory now beats with yours. The light began to fade again and the Queen's image shimmered like mist. Before she vanished, she looked directly at Adrian and whispered, Captain Holt, remember this. The universe listens to those who dare to speak. And then she was gone. The return to the surface. The tunnels seemed calmer as they made their way back. The walls glowed softly like a peaceful ocean of light. The air felt lighter now, easier to breathe. When they reached the surface, the sky had changed. The silver clouds parted and faint rays of golden light shone down like sunrise. Kara looked up, smiling faintly. It's beautiful, Adrian nodded. She's healing the planet. Back aboard Odyssey 9, the crew watched the sensors. The dangerous signals had disappeared. The planet's pulse was steady, calm. Dr. Lewis leaned back. We just helped save a world that's millions of years older than us. Dane crossed his arms. Yes, and woke up something else while doing it. Adrian smiled slightly. Maybe that's what humans do best. Wake up sleeping giants and then make friends with them. They laughed softly, the tension easing for the first time in days. But far below the surface of Virella 3, deep in the shadows where the light could not reach, something moved. The faint sound of metal claws scraped against stone. Red eyes flickered to life. The Xyrath were not gone, and the next time they woke, they would not just come for one planet. They would come for humanity. The glowing corridors of the alien ship pulsed like living veins as Captain Adrian Holt and his crew walked deeper into the heart of the Oralis structure. The walls shimmered with silver light, and every few steps they could feel the hum of energy vibrating beneath their boots. The ship felt awake now, alive in a way that made them all uneasy. Behind them, the sounds of distant rumbling echoed like thunder. The Xyrath drones were moving again. They had no faces, no voices, only the mechanical sound of claws scraping metal floors. Keep moving, Adrian said, his voice calm but tense. We have to reach the heart node before they do. His team followed closely. Lieutenant Mara, the engineer, Dr. Wren, the biologist, and Vega, the ship's tactical officer. Each of them carried small light packs glowing faint blue, their only comfort in the vast and breathing dark. Through the small communication crystal in Adrian's ear, Lyra's voice echoed softly. You are close now, Captain. The heart node lies beyond the next chamber, but you must hurry. The Xyrath awakened faster than I expected. Adrian touched the crystal. We're doing our best. What happens when we reach it? You will see. The heart node is both a mind and a memory. It will speak to you if you listen. Her voice sounded weaker now. He could feel her fading, like the last flicker of a candle. The thought made him move faster. They reached a huge circular door covered in patterns of glowing symbols. The surface looked like glass and water combined, shimmering whenever light touched it. Mara placed her hand against the door and frowned. There's no lock, no handle. How do we open this thing? Before Adrian could answer, the ship responded. The door rippled like a wave, and a soft sound, like a heartbeat, filled the hall. Then the entrance opened by itself, folding apart in layers of light. Beyond it was the heart chamber. The space was vast, shaped like a sphere, with bridges of crystal leading to a giant core suspended in midair. The heart node was magnificent, an enormous sphere of silver and blue energy, turning slowly, threads of light connecting it to every wall. It looked like both technology and life fused together. Dr. Wren whispered, awestruck. It's beautiful. Adrian nodded, stepping forward. This is what keeps the ship alive. It's what she's connected to. But the beauty was not peaceful. Sparks of energy crackled across the core's surface. Parts of the chamber trembled as if the ship was struggling to hold itself together. Be careful, Lyra's voice warned softly. The heart is unstable. You must stabilize it before it collapses. If it fails, the planet will die with it. Vega's eyes widened. You mean this thing is that powerful? Yes, she said faintly. The Oralis built it to hold the soul of their civilization. It can create life or erase it. Adrian walked toward the control pedestal near the edge of the bridge. It was covered with symbols similar to those on the door. He pressed his hand against it, and instantly a projection appeared in the air, a pattern of light showing the ship's systems. Mara studied it carefully. It's reacting to your biosignature, Captain. It's like it's reading you. Lyra's voice came again, soft and distant. It recognizes your courage. The heart knows intention, not species. Her words echoed in his mind. He wasn't sure if she meant that literally or spiritually. Either way, there was no turning back. He began to follow the glowing paths of the holographic design, connecting light threads with his hands. The moment he did, the floor shook violently. Sirath! Vega shouted. From the far corridor, mechanical drones crawled into the chamber. They had 4 arms, glowing red eyes, and sharp blades for limbs. They moved fast, too fast. Hold them off, Adrian ordered. Vega and Mara pulled out their pulse rifles and opened fire. Blue bolts of energy struck the drones, making them stagger but not fall. The Zirath moved like an unstoppable storm, cutting through debris as they advanced. Dr. Wren helped drag a fallen piece of metal to create cover while shouting, Adrian, hurry! He focused on the heart node interface. Every movement of his hands made the pattern shift, but it wasn't enough. The heart pulsed unevenly like a dying star. Adrian, Lyra said weakly, you must link your mind with the heart. It will not listen to machines. It listens to will. How? He asked aloud, ducking as sparks rained from the ceiling. Place your hand on the heart's surface. Trust it. Trust yourself. It sounded impossible, but there was no time to argue. Adrian ran toward the heart node, leaping across the bridge as explosions of light shook the chamber. He reached the glowing sphere. It radiated heat and power like the sun. Slowly, he lifted his hand and touched it. The world vanished. He was standing in a sea of stars. Floating lights drifted around him like memories. Voices whispered, some calm, some sorrowful, all ancient. You are human, one voice said. You seek to understand, not to rule. The Queen chose wisely. He felt their thoughts pressing gently against his own. They showed him images of their past, the Oralis civilization at its peak, shining worlds filled with music and color, then the sudden darkness when the Zirath rose against them. We fought to survive, the voices said. But logic alone cannot save life. Emotion gives purpose. Humanity has that gift. Then he saw Lyra. She stood before him, glowing softly, her expression peaceful. You see now, she whispered. You have what my people lacked, hope. The stars began to fade. Wait, Adrian said. If I do this wrong, the planet will die. How do I control it? You don't control life, Captain, she said gently. You guide it. Adrian opened his eyes. He was back in the chamber. His hand still rested on the heart, and the core glowed brighter than ever. Streams of light moved from his hand into the sphere, merging with it. Mara shouted, It's stabilizing. The readings are rising again. The Zirath drones paused mid-attack, their red eyes flickering. Then one by one they froze completely. Adrian focused harder, his mind filled with Lyra's voice. Together they guided the heart node, blending human instinct with ancient wisdom. The ship's trembling began to calm. The heart pulsed once, twice, then sent a wave of silver energy through the chamber. The drones disintegrated into dust. The cracks in the walls sealed themselves as if healed by unseen hands. When it was over, silence fell. Only the soft hum of the living ship remained. Adrian fell to his knees, exhausted. The heart now glowed with calm blue light, alive and peaceful. "You did it," Lyra's voice said faintly, her tone filled with pride. "You have awakened the heart." He smiled weakly. "We did it." "No," she said. "This was your doing. Humanity proved worthy of the gift." He looked around, but her voice was fading, softer with each word. "Go, Captain. The heart will live, but my time here ends soon." "Wait, Lyra, what do you mean?" "You will understand soon." "Thank you for reminding me what it means to believe." The connection ended. The crystal in his ear went silent. Adrian stood quietly as his crew gathered around him. The chamber now glowed softly, peaceful like a sleeping ocean. Mara touched his shoulder. "Captain, are you all right?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah, I think so. But we're not finished yet. There's one last thing we need to do." He looked toward the glowing core. Somewhere inside it, he felt her presence, faint but smiling. The Queen had trusted him. And now he would make sure her legacy, and humanity's new bond with the Orcs would never be forgotten. The Odyssey 9 crew prepared to leave the chamber, unaware that the ship above had already begun to change. Its outer hull shimmered with life, and its systems hummed in harmony with the newly awakened heart. The next chapter of human history had just begun. The silence after the storm felt heavy, almost sacred. Captain Adrian Holt stood in the heart chamber of the alien ship, breathing slowly. The glowing sphere, the heart node, now pulsed gently with calm light. It no longer looked dangerous or unstable. It looked alive, peaceful and aware. Around him, the ship was quiet. The air felt lighter, filled with a faint warmth as if the entire structure was breathing again. The alien patterns on the walls shifted like soft waves of light. The battle was over. The Zirath drones were gone, turned to dust and memory. Lieutenant Mara walked beside Adrian, staring at the heart. "It's beautiful," she said softly. "Like it's dreaming," Adrian nodded. "Maybe it is. Maybe this whole ship is alive again." Dr. Wren was scanning the readings with his device. Energy levels are stable. "The radiation is gone and, Captain, look at this." He turned the screen toward Adrian. "There's a life signature in the core. It's faint but constant." Adrian's chest tightened. "It's her. Lyra, the alien queen." He touched the glowing crystal in his ear, trying to reach her. "Lyra, can you hear me?" For a moment there was only silence. Then a faint echoing voice answered, filled with calm and kindness. "I hear you, Captain." Adrian closed his eyes, relieved. "You're alive." The heart stabilized. "You did it." "No," she said gently. "You did. The heart listens only to those who act with faith. You carried that faith even when you were afraid." He opened his eyes. The chamber glowed brighter. It felt like the ship was listening to their words. "But my time is ending," Lyra continued. "The Orcs essence inside the heart will soon merge with the living world." "I will no longer exist as before," Adrian frowned. "You mean you'll disappear?" "Not disappear," she said, her voice soft like wind through leaves. "Transform. My body will become part of this ship and my memories will remain here. The Queen will sleep, but her song will live." Her calmness made Adrian's chest ache. "You don't deserve to fade away after everything you've done." "Every life ends, Captain," she replied. "But meaning does not fade. You have given my people a second chance. That is enough." The chamber trembled slightly. A bright beam of light formed at the center of the heart node, and Lyra's image appeared, transparent but radiant. Her long hair flowed like liquid silver, and her glowing eyes held the same peace Adrian had seen when he first met her. The crew stepped back in awe. She was magnificent, graceful, timeless, and kind. She looked directly at Adrian. "When I first saw you, I thought you were lost," she said, smiling faintly. "You told me I was in the wrong room, but I knew that you were the one I was waiting for." Adrian almost smiled back, though his voice trembled. "You were waiting for a human?" "Yes," she said softly. "The stars spoke of your kind. Small, fragile, yet unyielding. The Orcs built wonders, but we forgot what it meant to hope. You reminded me of that." The light around her grew softer, as if fading slowly. "You must leave soon," she said. "The planet is awakening. The heart will reshape the surface, heal what was broken, and create new life. But the process will not be safe for your crew." Mara looked toward Adrian. "Captain, she's right. Energy levels are rising again. We should go. Adrian hesitated, staring at the Queen's image. I don't want to just walk away. Lyra tilted her head slightly, that same knowing smile on her face. You are not walking away. You are walking forward. That is what humans do best. The crew began preparing to leave. Vega signaled the Odyssey 9 in orbit, confirming that their shuttle could enter the atmosphere safely now that the storm had cleared. As they walked toward the exit tunnel, Adrian paused one last time and turned back. Lyra's image stood near the heart, surrounded by flowing light. Lyra, he said quietly, if there's anything I can do to honor you, tell me. Her voice came soft but steady. Remember me not as a queen, but as a friend. And tell your people what you saw here, that even the oldest stars still have lessons to teach. Adrian nodded slowly. I will. And Captain, she added, her tone warm, sometimes being in the wrong room means you're exactly where you're meant to be. He smiled at her words. They were the same ones she had spoken when they first met. The chamber's light grew brighter, wrapping her in silver radiance. Then, slowly, her figure dissolved into the heart node. The light pulsed one final time, steady and strong, as if the ship was breathing again. Adrian stood there in silence for a long moment. Then he turned and walked out with his crew. When the Odyssey 9 shuttle rose through the planet's blue mist, the crew watched the world below. What had once been a lifeless, cracked surface was now glowing with rivers of light. The alien vines had awakened, spreading across the ground like living art. The air shimmered with energy. Dr. Wren whispered, "It's like the planet is being reborn." Adrian nodded, his eyes fixed on the world below. That's exactly what's happening. Inside the shuttle, the glowing crystal Lyra had given him sat in his palm. It pulsed softly, as if beating like a heart. Mara leaned closer. It's reacting to something. Adrian nodded. It's connected to the heart node, maybe to her. When they reached orbit, the Odyssey 9's crew greeted them with cheers and relief. The bridge filled with excitement as data from the planet poured in. Energy levels were rising in harmony, not chaos. The entire world was alive. Commander Yates, the second in command, turned to Adrian. Captain, I think you just brought a world back to life. Adrian smiled faintly. I think she did. Days passed. The Odyssey 9 orbited Varela 3, while scientists studied the readings. Strange energy patterns emerged, pulses that repeated in rhythm like coded messages. Mara noticed the pattern first. Captain, this isn't random. These signals are organized. It's almost like a song. Adrian watched the screen. The pulses repeated again, each wave forming a soft melody. It was calm and beautiful. He touched the crystal in his pocket, and for a moment he thought he heard a faint voice. Remember, human, life is not made to be perfect. It is made to grow. He smiled, closing his hand gently around the crystal. Weeks later, when the Odyssey 9 returned to Earth, the data from Varela 3 changed everything. The heart node's signals carried encoded information, scientific knowledge, maps of ancient civilizations, and living blueprints for biotechnology far beyond anything humans had ever imagined. The world's scientists worked together to decode it. They called it the Lyra sequence. And while governments argued over what to do with it, Captain Adrian kept quiet. He knew what Lyra truly meant when she gave him the crystal. It wasn't just knowledge, it was a reminder of connection, of empathy, of what made humans special. Humanity had not just discovered alien life, they had earned its trust. One evening, Adrian stood alone at the observation deck of Earth's orbital station. Stars filled the black sky, endless and bright. He looked at the crystal once more. It glowed softly, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. Then he heard it again, her voice soft and peaceful. Do not forget, Adrian Holt. The universe is vast, but hearts can bridge it. He smiled quietly, his eyes still on the stars. I won't forget. The crystal shimmered once more, then dimmed, resting quietly in his hand. Below him, Earth glowed blue and alive. Above, countless stars waited, each holding its own story, its own secret waiting to be discovered. Adrian whispered softly, We're coming, Lyra. One day, we'll meet again. Far away on Varela 3, the great alien ship pulsed with life. The heart node glowed, and deep within its core a soft smile of light appeared, faint but eternal. The Queen was not gone. She was part of the stars now, and somewhere in the gentle hum of the living world her voice echoed, I know.